So we're just a few minutes before the hour. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the light on the mesa. I know, I love that. I didn't know that until I'd been here for a couple months, but I just love the idea that you cannot contain that spirit of light that is inside each and every one of us. That when we truly hold ourselves into that gorgeous illuminated place, we know the power of these mountains. We know the power of this woodland creatures that visit us regularly. We know that within us is the kingdom of heaven. And I will call that beautiful God space that resides in each and every one of us. And so when someone said to me, "We've been called the light on the mesa," I went, "Oh yeah, Amen. Did I get an amen? So today we have a really special guest. About 2 years ago, I went to Unity Village to do an abundance workshop. Now, my teacher, my only teacher truly in prosperity, has been Reverend Edwin Gaines. And of course, all of us who play in the prosperity realm, we have worked with her. We have walked fire with her. We have been to her retreat center when it was at Mentone, Alabama, the toning of the minds, Mentone, another place where the healing waters ran under the earth. So in thinking about these kind of things, and I show up at Unity Village, and I've been a minister for about 3 years, and one thing that Ken's going to share with you a little bit later, I didn't always take care of myself. I sometimes have a AAA personality, and I think I have to do everything myself. And I will let you know, with a congregation, they will let you. They will let you. So I had to learn boundaries, and I actually arrived at the village exhausted. And so the very first night, I'm not even sure I saw him. I just went to bed in the beautiful hotel, and it has words on the wall that say, harmony, breathe. And so my whole body was embraced with this beautiful atmosphere of, I got you. And if you ever join us, and I hope some of you will in September, there's a beautiful place called Myrtle's Grove, and it's a grove of trees. And we were there in the winter, so it was bare trees, just the limbs. And I sat down at Myrtle's Grove as this pretty young minister, and I said, Myrtle, I don't know if I can do this. I'm really tired. And I looked up in her trees, and at the very edge was a little sprig of green. And I took that as my sign, I can do this. There is always new growth. There is always a new day. And then I went into Ken's workshop, and we had a lot of fun. And so when we met, and then here we are about 2 years later, and he's written this amazing book, and he's brought forward our concepts, and I won't steal his thunder. I'll let him play with you. And I thought, this would be really cool if he'll come here and visit us, because his home church is in San Francisco. So maybe we have to go visit him too. So anyways, with all this beautiful thing being said, I'm so tickled that he's here with us. And we went to the Antler Hotel last night. Are y'all familiar with that one? And so this morning I looked at him and I said, it sounds like a joke. 2 ministers going into the Antler. So we had a wonderful, wonderful evening. And boy, can some ministers talk. I'm glad there's no flies on those walls. There were beautiful prom kids, but no flies. So I'm saying hello to our Zoomies. I know you're included this morning. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. And I'm going to ask you to take a moment and just close those outer eyes. Take a beautiful breath in and release. One more breath in. And release. For that divine trilogy, one more breath in, all the way to your toes, and release. Here we are. Here we are, spirit, centered, focused, open, and receptive. We are so grateful to have friends in Unity come visit with us. Our minds are open and receptive. Our hearts are warm, gracious, welcoming. In this time and space for the next hour, the beautiful music, thank you, Jeremy. Each and every person who made today come alive and vibrant. Mark and Donna in the AV booth. Yolanda in the front office organizing us divinely, as usual. Each and every person who's showing up to usher, to greet, to welcome. For our beautiful Jackie, watching over the food so we can have fellowship and feast. We just take in that moment. Take in this sacred space. This opportunity for wholeness, to remember who we are, to shine, really, truly shine as that beautiful light on the mesa. to know that wherever we go, God is fully present in each and every moment. And I want you to take just a moment in your mind's imagination. If money were no object, how does that feel in your body? If time were no object, how would that feel in your body? If all of your relationships were perfect, fun, vibrant, how would that feel in your body? If health was walking in wholeness every day, what part of the stress would you maybe release? The knees, the ankles, the shoulders, that gut sometimes. Just feel into your body, that holy sanctuary that contains our spirit-filled humanness. And if you were to allow yourself to play, just giggle and play a little every day, how would that feel in your body? So we come back into this beautiful space, this holy sanctuary, knowing that each one present has been called here today. Each person over the airwaves and each person who watches us later. Imagine all this as I will claim it to be the abundance of the universe. And so it is. Amen.
Okay, the mission statement. Repeat after me. We are an affirming, heart-centered community co-creating spiritual evolution and illuminating pathways to the divine presence.
My power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Good morning, everyone. Right on. My name is Nelson, as in the full Nelson. I'm your prayer chaplain today. Today is on prosperity. I give and receive with an open heart, honoring the sacred rhythm of life. Prosperity is living in harmony with divine rhythm, trusting the sacred balance of ebb and flow that moves through all creation. Though I may long to arrive at a place of permanent abundance, I realize it is not a destination, but an ongoing journey of giving and receiving. Both require open hands and open hearts. In sharing with others, I honor the impulse to bless them. In receiving, I honor God, the source of all that is. Gratitude keeps me in the flow of prosperity, the natural rhythm of abundance. When orchard trees stop bearing fruit and shed their leaves, I do not despair. I trust that new growth will come again. Prosperity is not evident only in the harvest, but also in the quiet faith that sustains me through all seasons. They are like trees planted by streams of water, which yield their fruit in its season, and their leaves do not wither. In all that they do, they prosper. Psalm 1:3. I will be available after service for prayer requests in the meditation room, and you can also submit a written prayer request into the wood prayer box in the back located in the foyer, or leave your request via voicemail on the prayer request line at 719-322-5138. Just call the number on your screen now. Prayer requests are prayed on by a Unity Spiritual Center chaplain and then sent to Silent Unity for prayer for 30 days. Thank you.
Abundance is all around me. Abundance is all around me. It's in the flowers, it's in the trees, it's in the stars, it's at your feet. It's in the honey, it's all that you see. Oh, it's our birthright, it's our birthright. So look around and see it everywhere. It's in your shoes, your hats, the clothes you get to wear. Well, all I know is abundance is everywhere. Abundance is all around me. Abundance is all around me. It's in the earth you walk upon, a gentle breeze. It's in the water that bathes you, bathes you. It's with your friends, having a laugh. It's breathing fresh air or watering the plants. So look around and see it everywhere. It's in your shoes, your hats, the clothes you get to wear. All I know is abundance is everywhere. Breathe together, right? So breathe it in and breathe it out. Yeah, breathe it in and breathe it out. Abundance is all around me.
Thank you. Now you expect me to say something, right? In 1980s, I was living in Manhattan, making a career in musical theater. And the whole nation, the world, was being ravaged by a pandemic. My friends were getting sick and dying. People I knew and loved We're good? Okay. No hope. No medicine, no cures. It was a scary time. And in the middle of it, I found an author by the name of Louise Hay. How many people have read You Can Heal Your Life, right? She was a practitioner, a religious science, now known as Centers for Spiritual Living practitioner, and this book was an anchor in the middle of that raging storm of knowing that my mind and my intentions can create in the world. And from that, I found out about a woman who was teaching about another book called A Course in Miracles. And this woman, whose name was, she's kind of obscure, Marianne Williamson. And she was giving these lectures around the corner from my house in Manhattan at a Universalist church, a Unitarian Universalist church. And I would go on Thursday evenings and listen to Marianne Williamson talk about A Course in Miracles. And she started an HIV support group, and I had been, in 1988, tested as HIV positive. And so I started going to these support groups with Marianne Williamson, and 25 of us sitting around talking about whether we should take medication, or take medication. And we did both, right? And so she said to me, when we asked about if I should take ACT, she said, go ahead and take the pill, but understand it's your belief in the pill that's curing you, not the pill. And we started talking about belief systems and what they establish in our being. And there was another woman who was writing at the time, who's now a friend, Maria Nemeth wrote a book called The Energy of Money. And she talks about structures of knowing, that our belief systems, what we truly believe in the world, create the world we live in. And those people said, have you ever heard of this church called Unity? And they meet at Avery Fisher Hall in Manhattan. You should go check it out. So I walked into the Philharmonic Hall in Lincoln Center. There's 3,000 people in the auditorium, and it was the most inclusive, most diverse, most uplifting church service I had ever experienced. I was raised in New Orleans, in the South, and Catholic. And church was not the same at Unity, let me just put it that way. And the minister, my first minister was Eric Butterworth. Yeah. And he wrote a book, if you haven't heard of Eric Butterworth, he wrote a book called Discover the Power Within You, right? That contained in each and every one of us is the power to move mountains, to create whatever that we desire to create in the world. And part of that understanding is that what we call God, source, universe, whatever name we may call it, it is constantly showering abundance upon us. It is constantly giving us everything we need. It is our thinking and our beliefs that block it. It is our habits, our behaviors, our attitudes, and our feelings that keep our good at bay, keep our health somewhere down the road, and keep our relationships in turmoil and trouble. And so I dove headfirst into those teachings and changed my life. I stand here before you today some 38 years later, never ever being sick, and going on to live a beautiful life in New York as a professional singer, dancer, actor, and director and choreographer, and then leaving that work to go to Unity Ministerial School to get married and start a family in my 50s, right? So I stand here with 3 children back at home and a husband taking care of them. And I am so grateful to be here with you today. But I got another call. After being in Unity for a long time. I got a call to update the teachings. Because Eric wrote in the 60s, the 1960s and 70s. When I met him, he was an older man in his 80s, right? And we have learned so much more than we knew back then. So I wrote this book, just got published in January. It's called Unapologetic Manifestation, 5 Steps to Create the Life You Want. And we have the first slide up, please. Thank you, Mark. And what really was amazing at the book launch, I was wearing the same shirt at my book launch. It was at my Unity Church in San Francisco. I got it just for the book launch because I wanted something really jazzy. I didn't want to be a wallflower, right? And we had a wonderful man by the name of Chip Conley, who brilliant man, an author and entrepreneur, and he's become a friend, and he interviewed me for this book launch party. And he said, unapologetic manifestation. Is there something you think you need to apologize for? And no one had ever asked me that question before. And I took a second and realized, oh yeah, there is. You see, growing up in New Orleans, I was this little gay kid. And at home, I was beaten by my dad, who was literally, he would say, I'm going to make a man out of you, right? Trying his best, right? And then on the way to school, the other boys beat me up because I didn't carry my books right. I carried them in front, not on the side, and that's not how boys are supposed to carry books, right? And then at school, I was beaten by the nuns. So I learned at a very early age that it wasn't safe to be me. And there's a little bit of that still within me. If I'm really honest and look at it, some days I go, don't be too much. It's scary to be standing in front of you telling you all this, but I do it even though it's scary, right? I feel the fear. And I do it anyway, because I know that God is my source, God is my power, and that God is constantly showering me with my good. And my playing small doesn't serve the world. My playing small doesn't serve the world. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about prosperity. Here's the thing about abundance. Here's the thing about our manifestations. Next slide. We don't get what we deserve. We don't get what we negotiate. We get to keep what we truly believe we're worthy of. So prosperity and abundance is an inside job. We must do the work necessary to root out those old beliefs, as my good friend Martha Creek calls them, our belief systems, or our BS. Our BS that tells us, oh, don't do that. You don't know how to do that. You're not good enough. You don't have the right education. You don't have the right, you're too old. You're not old enough, right? You're not the right gender. You're not the right color. You're not the right person for the job. And we shrink in order that other people won't see our vulnerability or see our need. And what actually connects us to the universe and actually connects us to life is to be bigger than we've ever been before. But I also want to dispel a myth, because manifestation is really popular topic right now. And if you go on the internet and you try and look it up, next slide, you'll see lots of different things about if you say the right numbers, if you align yourself with the stars and you have the right crystals, that all the things will fall. And manifestation is not magical. It is not. It is a natural order of the universe, and it is a direct result of what we do. It is disciplined. It is conscious participation in life. But it is not a formula that you get to just adhere to. It is the work of manifesting in your life that makes a difference. And so that's why I wrote the book. I wrote the book to open us to what's really going on in our minds. These patterns that we start when we're little become habits, become rote, become unconscious, and they chain us to a past we say we don't want. They chain us to lack thinking we long ago affirmed away. So while I was doing this work, I was teaching it, I was creating courses, I was reading, I was studying, I noticed there is a pattern. There is a way that all this happens. And I created the 5 steps of manifestation, and I wanted to share those with you today and talk about how you can employ these 5 steps. Now, I'm going to do them in order. I'm going to do them 1 through 5, but I just want to make the disclaimer, they don't happen in order. Life does not happen in order. Life happens everywhere all at once. Right? Right? And the 5 steps are just a way that we can consciously interact with this thing we call life. The first one is to focus your mind. First step is to focus your mind. We live in an infinite universe, right? Science cannot tell us where the universe ends, and it is constantly expanding, and it has trillions and trillions of galaxies in it. Think about that. We live in the Milky Way galaxy. There's trillions of galaxies, right? And we complain about there's not enough to go around. We're funny, right? We think that there's not enough, and we start playing this zero-sum game, right? We think, ooh, we can't ask for that, because if I take that much good, if I have my $1 million, then that means someone else is not going to have theirs. Well, that's a fallacy, right? And we get taught very carefully, very, very carefully by our caregivers and our parents who say, don't get too big for your britches. Don't get too full of yourself. Well, who else are you going to be full of? Don't you want to be full of you? Don't you want to be the fullness of you? And when you are the fullness and of the wholeness of you, unabashedly proud, unapologetically you, that the world is blessed by your presence. The world is lifted by your participation. The world is changed because you have shown up fully and completely. That's the power of unapologetic manifestation. I am here to be the light the world needs, not to cower in the darkness, not to be afraid, but to be boldly authentic. So I ask you to think of what you want to focus on. What do you long to create in your life and in this world? And to choose something. And people will say I don't want to limit the universe. Like you could. That statement has both arrogance and humility all mashed up in it, right? It's like, the universe needs you to focus on something so that it can assist you. But as our co-teacher, Edwene Gaines, says, oh, honey, what happens in vagueness stays in vagueness. Right? Right? If we're all like, oh, whatever, that's what you're going to get. Whatever. Focus your mind on what it is you want to create. If you change your mind tomorrow, great. And there's also a belief that if I say and name and claim that I want this, that I won't get something else down the line. There's an embedded belief that there's only so much to go around. Again, that lack thinking. It's pervasive. I have it. We all have it. And when we can be honest about it and share it with each other, we're able to take away its power over us. Second step is to shift your consciousness. Now, this is sometimes called shadow work, but there's 2 parts of the shadow, right? The part of the shadow work in Jungian theory is just all the things in us that we don't want to own. Sometimes that's the stuff that we don't like about ourselves. The things, the nastiness, the bitterness, the resentments, the anger that living on this planet sometimes causes. We all go through it. You were raised by imperfect parents who were raised by imperfect parents. And if you were some miracle grew up in a functional household, you went to school. And that was all over, right? Because that is the human journey. We are spiritual beings in a human body learning the human experience. So to shift, we must go in and do the work. There's also parts of us that won't own our power, won't own our strength, won't own our intelligence, won't own our wisdom. I have an older brother. I'm a middle child, the perfect middle child. An older brother, me, and then 2 younger sisters, and then my father adopted 5 other kids, and that's a whole other story. But there were 9 of us altogether. And I had this middle kid syndrome, and when I followed my brother through school, Glenn was the Eagle Scout, the straight A student, the valedictorian, the best boy on the planet, right? And I'd get through to the school, and I'd sit in the class, and we're 11 months apart. So every year at school, I would go right behind him to the next class and say, "Oh, you're Glenn Daigle's brother. Are you as smart as he is?" And I found myself saying no, both out loud and in my heart, right? And I am as smart as my brother is. In fact, now that I know him, I'm smarter. Glenn was brilliant. He has no emotional intelligence. Right? And Glenn's a great guy, and I love him. I love him to death. But I am as smart as my brother. I am, but I learn differently, and I behave differently than my brother. But I took that on, and it has been years to undo that understanding that I'm not smart. And so that's the work we all have to do, is to unbury and uncover and change the levels of consciousness, our BS that keeps us playing small. The third step is to take concrete steps in the world. But I want to just say, because if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? If you keep doing the same old, I want to create abundance in my life. But you get up every morning and you do the same things and you think the same things and you behave the same way. You don't shift your prayer practice. You don't shift your meditation practice. You don't go sign up and take the course. You don't do the things you need to do to make the business that will change your life. And then you complain, the universe is against me. I just can't catch a break, right? Nothing seems to work when we are the ones who are not taking new steps. If we keep doing the same things over and over again, we will get the same results. So I have 3 kids, a full-time job, and I was chair of the board of Unity World Headquarters, and I wrote a book. You know how I did it? I gave up watching Colbert late at night. So I would put the kids to sleep, and I know the parents in the room and the grandparents are in the room, and I would go down and I need some time, I need adult time, and I'd turn on late night TV and I'd watch it. So I changed the pattern. I would put the kids to sleep and I'd go to sleep, right? And when I'd go to sleep, I'd wake up then at 5 in the morning, and between 5 and 7, I had 2 hours of me time that changed everything. And I would write, I would edit, I would do the work I needed to do to accomplish what I said I wanted to do. And then when the book was in the editor's hands, Unity World Headquarters was blowing up, and I found all those 2 hours in the morning very useful for me to do the volunteer work I do in the world, right? And so that 2 hours every morning enabled me to make Unity Worldwide Ministries and Unity World Headquarters come together and become one organization for the first time in 60 years. We're one again. And that's because I had the bandwidth to do the work that was required of me, because I had shifted something in my work, in my life. So take concrete steps, but take new ones. Find new ways of being in the world. And then the 4th step is to share your journey. You know, a lot of times we don't want to say, because people are going to think we're all full of ourselves. We don't want to share what we're about in the world, because people will give us negative energy. Well, let them. Didn't you just do a book study on it? Let them. Let them have their opinions. Whether they say them to you or not, they're going to have them. There are people who think this shirt is way too much. Let them. I mean, it's okay. I like it. But it's not everybody's. Everybody gets to have their opinion. It doesn't have to be yours, and it doesn't have to stop you. But what you miss by not sharing, what you miss by not telling other people what you're about in the world, is finding the people who will collaborate with you, who will co-create with you, who will join you on the journey, who will find the things that you need to lift you up, will provide you. Oh, I have that. Oh, I could do that for you. Oh, I have a friend who could do that. Or have you thought about it this way? And that sharing of your journey refines your path, refines your idea, gives you the lyrics you need to write the next song, gives you the inspiration for the next chapter in the book. There's a section in the book that I just love. It's in Share Your Journey, and I was struggling with how to create this chapter, and my editor wrote me and said, I don't think this chapter's done. You need to take another pass at it. It's not quite fully baked. And she gave me some suggestions. You need to find some other stories. And I got the email, and I left my desk, and I walked into my kitchen. And we have a housemate. She built a dwelling on our land, this woman, and she helps us with the kids. And I had just listened to a podcast that she had done. And I was talking to Sarah, and the story I was looking for was right there in my kitchen. So Sarah, at 29 years old, was hiking. She was a journalist in Syria, was hiking along the Syrian and Iraq border, and was pulled off the trail at gunpoint by Iranian guards and taken into Iran and held in solitary confinement for a year and a half. And she was finally released by a combination of Hugo Chavez of Venezuela and Sean Penn lobbying Iran for her release. And she had to leave her fiancé and their best friend behind in jail for her to get out. And she tells her story, and it's just a mind-boggling story. And she is spent her rest of her life now. She works in ending solitary confinement here in the United States because it's cruel and unusual punishment. And from her unique perspective on it, she's about to launch a documentary that I'm going to next week, and all about this work. But there she was in my living room, and she had just shared in their podcast about how every time she tells her story, it helps cure her PTSD. Right? And also gives new meaning to her work. She finds something, even when she doesn't want to tell the story again, she finds some new way of helping her to understand what she's gone through. And if you're here on this planet right now, whatever age you are, from the young ones I see in the back to those of us who are well beyond retirement age, whatever that is, whatever retirement is, right? I don't plan to retire except to redo myself, right? And to redo myself about what I'm going to do in the world. And so whatever that is for you, there's more work to be done because you're here. You're not done. You're not done. So share your journey. Share the wisdom of your age. Share the wisdom and the longing of your heart, and co-create win-win situations for the planet. So I want to share one last story, because the last step of all this is to be open to how it will show up. When my husband and I were on our adoption journey, we were determined to adopt children that needed a home, that we had resources and we had ability to support. And there were thousands and thousands of children who needed that home. So we entered the open adoption market. We thought we would adopt an infant from a mother who couldn't take care of a child. And we also were going to adopt someone from foster care, a kid who was in foster care. At the time in California, 40,000 kids were living in foster care. 40,000 in California alone. And so we got matched with a birth mother, and it turned out to be a scam. she had matched with several different people. We were paying her expenses, and several other people were paying her expenses. And before the baby was born, we found out that we were scammed. And we retreated. I was blogging. We had a website. I was talking about it. And then we got matched with another birth mother in Houston. And we flew to Houston for the birth of the baby, and it was wonderful. And in the hospital there in Houston, the birth mother changed her mind. And I wrote about it. We were heartbroken again, but we said that this is not our child. For we know and we affirm that our helping a baby will not cause anyone else undue pain, that it'll lift everyone up in the situation. So when we got home from Houston and had shared that blog, we got a phone call from a woman on our Facebook page. She wrote us on our Facebook page and set up a phone call. She said, "My husband and I have been following you. We think you guys are amazing, and we want to help you by giving you a baby." And we were kind of confused, and we said, "So you want to be our surrogate?" And she said, no, we don't need money. We have 2 kids, our family is finished, and I get pregnant really easy. We'd like to conceive and give you a child. And we put her on mute and said, "Crazy lady's on the phone." And we unmuted her and said, "You could do that." She goes, "Yeah, I love being pregnant. I get pregnant very easily, and I don't really bond to my babies till after they're born." So I said, "What would your family think?" She said, "We're adults. We can do what we want. Our family's not." But I said, "But you've talked to them about this?" And she said, "You know what? We'd love to come visit you. Let's set up a meeting." I said, "Okay, we'll talk to our attorneys. Let's have a meeting next week." And her husband was out of town. So we met and we went through the whole thing. They came up to visit. They live in California in the Central Valley. They came up to visit us in San Francisco. We fell in love with them and their kids. And by the end of their visit, we looked at them and said, "Go have all the sex you can." As much as humanly possible, we're all in. He's an Iraqi war veteran, a Marine from the Iraq War, and she's a dreamer kid brought here undocumented. And they are in their early 20s, just magnificent. She had a 6-month-old at the time, and so we knew that she might not get pregnant for a while, but we said, "Great." And we went through the foster care system, and in that moment, we fell in love with this 15-year-old boy whose picture would not leave us alone. And so we brought this 15-year-old boy into our house and started the process of adopting him. And so we went from no kids to a very, very traumatized 15-year-old who had been in the foster care system for 8 years and had 23 different placements in 8 years. And the month he moved in, Sandra called us and said, "I'm pregnant." Of course. So we went in that year from no kids to a 15-year-old and a newborn. We were in the room when Sandra gave birth. Her husband filmed it. My husband cut the cord, and I was the first to do skin to skin. They have become a part of our extended family. She and now her 3 kids and her husband are all part of us. My daughter now is 10. Roma is 10, and she knows her mom. She knows her siblings. She knows where she comes from and that she is a gift of love. I could have never, ever imagined how my good would show up. And when it shows up different than we imagine it, it's a sign it's from spirit, not from our ego. Right? It is from God. It is from source. It is bigger than we can ever be. And we have one other child we adopted. And he was born prematurely and with some health challenges, serious health challenges. And his journey has been one that has taken every ounce of my strength, my wisdom, my tenacity, and my patience. He's 7 now, but in his life, in his first 2 years of life, he had 4 surgeries. And he also did not come from the best of circumstances. So he has some real struggles. and I'm here for him. When we get what we want, when we manifest what we say we want, it often means that we have to go back and tap into more and more resources and tap into more and more creativity and more abundance. So what I want to leave you with is that this is not a one and done. Manifestation is an ongoing, ever-evolving process where we get to figure out how to navigate every stage of life and every challenge, health, money, relationships, work, life. It keeps lifing. And these principles and this teaching is for us when we allow ourselves to go through these steps. So I invite you on this unapologetic manifestation journey with me. I have some free webinars coming up. I'm teaching a retreat at Unity Village again, and I'll be out after service to talk to you about all those resources. And I have books. So I know that within you is something greater than has ever been seen by the world. And that I know that you're letting it out, fully out, will create a blessing for us all. And I invite us to take that to our time of meditation. Thank you for letting me go on and on and on. Thank you, Jeremy. So I invite you to get comfortable so that I can make you uncomfortable. I invite you to let the chair, being comfortable, being uncomfortable is one of the secrets. Let the chair hold you. Even in the places that you don't feel quite right in your body, if there's some pain or some tension or some stress, to let the chair hold you. That you don't have to hold yourself up. Someone else designed that really nice chair for you. To let the floor take your feet. And to let your breath take you to somewhere else. Do you know that just by inhaling and exhaling in a certain way, you can change the rhythm of your heart? You can change the consciousness and the vibrations of your mind. So I invite you to inhale slowly for 4 counts. To hold that breath. And then to exhale as slowly as humanly possible. Till all that air is gone. To inhale through your nose for 4 counts. To hold that breath. And to exhale. And once again to inhale. To hold. And to exhale. Deep within your being, there is something that is longing to be seen, known, and made manifest. There is something that is constantly calling you. Something for the planet, something for your family, something for your life and your work. Both your volunteer work and sometimes your paid work. Focus on that thing right now. Focus on that longing, for it is planted by Spirit itself in your human form. And I'd also invite you to listen to the voices that tell you, no, can't, don't, stop. And tell those voices that you hear them and you understand their purpose, but you're going to do this anyway. You're going to take the next step, baby step, and move forward with care, with purpose, with determination, and with caution. Because baby steps are not small for the baby. They're life-changing events. So in your mind's eye right now, I invite you to take the next baby step towards your goal. To see what that is coming into being. Is it taking a course? Is it writing a blog, a book, a newsletter? Is it sharing your story? Is it expanding your circle of friends? Is it taking a risk and telling the truth? Right here and right now, we live in the realm, in the field of infinite possibility. Spirit has no lack in ways to fulfill your dream. So in the silence, see how it might show up. In the silence, see how it may already exist in your life and on the planet. In the silence, open yourself to the infinite. Manifestation is not magic. Cinderella's fairy godmother does not make the things she needs from thin air. She turns rags into a gown, mice into horses, and a pumpkin into a carriage. What is already in your life, everything you already have, can be turned into the infinite possibilities of what could be with your focused attention, with your powerful choice. Today, choose what you want to create. Choose what you will put your focus and your attention on. And when you do, stop asking, what can I take? And start realizing what we can create together. A world that works for everyone. No exceptions. No exclusions. No excuses. Namaste.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Reverend Ken. Okay. All right. So, happy birthday blessings for everyone with a birthday in the month of May. Anybody? All right. Happy birthday. So, how about a happy birthday song?
On the spot, goodness.
Day
To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Anybody born in May? Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Susan. I'd like to welcome newcomers. All right, great, welcome. We invite you to fill out our visitor form and sign up for our newsletter. And down the hall after the service in Friendship Hall, we have lunch. And please join us for that. So, these lovely flowers, there they are. Were provided by Debbie Lacey in honor of her mother's heavenly birthday. Okay, we're looking for volunteers to assist the bingo team on rotating Wednesdays. B-I-N-G-O, 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 bingo is. Joining the bingo team is a great way for social connection, purpose, and a role to help bring income into unity. Talk about manifestation. It's a great way to meet people and have fun too. Training is provided. If you're interested, then please contact the Unity office. Is Don Turner here today? No? Okay. Don Turner is the person to see as well. Bears, oh my. We have a sneaky bear again this year getting into the Unity trash can located in the fenced recycle area over here. Please make sure that the trash taken from Fellowship Hall and other areas is placed inside the bear-proof can only. Do not place bags of trash around the cans or use other trash cans other than the bear-proof can. If you need assistance on how to use the bear-proof can, then please check with the office. I have a video and some pictures of when we had a dumpster, bears knocking it over and standing on top of it and standing in it. And we love our bears, but we need to keep our trash contained. And the library team has books available to take home located in the Fellowship Hall on the table near the windows. And Marlene, do you want to come up and say a few words? A love offering is appreciated in the library.
Good morning, everybody. I am in the throes of doing something I've wanted to do for a very, very long time, and Reverend Tracy is supporting that. And it's to have a gathering of people for my I hate to say it's a workshop, but it's not a play shop either. It's an exchange of spiritual awarenesses, and it's called The Gift of Conflict. And I know that most of us run away from conflict, and we're gonna talk about how conflict serves as a wonderful inspirational opportunity to heal, to learn, and to be okay with conflict. It really is a deepening. It can be a deepening of relationships.
Thank you, Marley. Okay, now it's time for offertory. So, if you can take your offering, your tithing manifestation, and hold it to your heart, whether metaphorically or right there today. And we say, we hold our gift to our heart and fill it with the intentions of grace, love, and peace. Know that it goes out into the world, blessed and multiplied, serving this community and the world to the fullest, and so it is.
The kindergarten play is where a toddler comes of age. And so you told your dad that you'd be taking center stage. He lit up like the moon, his smile came unfurled. He said, of course I'll be there, wouldn't miss it for the world. You believed his pledge was ironclad and couldn't bust. Before so many shattered and you lost all sense of trust. But in that precious moment, you couldn't feel much higher. The promise when you're 5 years old is all that you require. Flowers on the trellis and tears in mother's eyes. Bridesmaids matched in dresses, more than half of them despise. A dinner fit for harvest with a cake that's 4 feet high. Nothing lasts forever, but you vow you're gonna try. You overheard a whisper between the first and second course, how the best will have their troubles while the rest end in divorce. But in that precious moment, you hold every soul's desire, 'cause the promise on your wedding day is all that you require. There's magic to the dawn right before the sun comes up, like spirit dancing wild just above your coffee cup. A brief and sudden shiver as you step outside the door, shaking off the thoughts that kept you up the night before. You held yourself to others, tossed and turned till you fell flat. But you broke free from your covers and stood up to all of that. Oh, a tired, broken heart still holds your feet up to the fire, 'cause the promise of another day is all that you require. The promise of another day is all that you require. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeremy. Do we have children today? Children? Children, where are our children?
Speaking of all this wonderful, thank you so much, but this is what we're doing with the children. Whether there's children here or there's children here who don't want to come up, we are seeing our children here every week. And the YFM group is manifesting that every week by working towards it. So I'd like to affirm it if we can. We affirm that our children are drawn here in love and joy. They come with open hearts and curious and guided by Spirit. Together we create a sacred, playful space where young hearts are welcomed. And as they arrive, our community grows more and more alive. And so it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Dana. Okay. Now, if you could stand, we are going to do our prayer for protection.
If we can form a circle so you can see each other. Look at those big, beautiful eyes. Big golden smiles, that light on the mesa.
Big, beautiful smiles, the light on the mesa. Okay, so the light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God holds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Remain standing for the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God, our Creator. We are family. Let's walk with each other, perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my song.